Hello and welcome to another episode of ChuggieBets. This is our college football edition. I am Andy. That is Matt. That is Danny. And that is Al. Before we get to anything else, let's drink a beer.
Let's get it.
Cheers.
Who's ready to chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks? Welcome to ChuggieBets.
Good stuff. All right. We are coming off another incredible week. Matt and I tied for the lead for the week, both 5 games above 500. I was 7-2. Matt was 8-3. Both of us won our Chuggy bets. Al also had a decent week, 11-9, 2 games above 500. Unfortunately, did not win his Chuggy bet. Danny was 1-1 with the picks he sent in via text message. And Chris, a little bit under 500, but he did win his Chuggy bet. So, Danny, we're going to say you can hand out Chris's Chuggy bet. And Matt and I each get a Chuggy bet to hand out as we go today. Matt, for tying for the lead for the week, we'll let you go first. Anything you learned this week or that you want to share?
I learned that the third Saturday in October is full of great football, right? And I'm not even talking Tennessee, Alabama. I'm talking USC, Utah. What a game. I'm talking TCU, Oklahoma State. What a ridiculous game. I can't believe TCU came back. Just awesome football. I also learned that as long as you cover the spread as the Auburn head coach, you don't get fired. The spread was 15. You lost by 14. I made some shenanigans last week that I said if Bryan Harsin wasn't fired by today, I have to take a shot. So I will pay my debt. You guys can pick up from here.
Cheers.
Cheers, bud. Danny, what do you got?
I learned that rich old white guys are the worst. Speaking of the Tennessee-Alabama game, a bunch of students ran onto the field and celebrated. It was beautiful. There was like a Renaissance-like painting of them tearing down the goalposts and carrying them across the street. It was amazing, but SEC has implemented a little bit of like a fine. It's a small little $100,000 fine. It means nothing to a organization
like
that
one
brings
commercial.
in $100 million a year and doesn't have to pay their labor. So, I mean, they actually outsourced paying their players with NIL. It's amazing. It's an amazing business model that they have. But now they're trying to outsource who's going to pay this fine. They're literally asking for the fans to GoFundMe who's going to pay the fine. Rich old white guys, you are the worst. Pay for this out of your revenue.
Fines in the SEC, they just mean more. All right?
Nice. Al, what about you? Do you have anything you learned?
I learned that if you kick a game-winning field goal, it doesn't matter how ugly it is if it goes through the uprights. I also learned that Clemson is annoyingly legitimate.
Annoying. It's annoying. I've been saying they're bad.
I want them to be bad. It's very annoying.
I've been
they're not
saying
even
they're
like
bad
very good. They're just not bad. Yeah. But now I'm looking to capitalize on it. So Andy, what did you learn?
I learned that betting like Danny can be profitable. I dedicated a pick to him last week because he wasn't able to be here, and I wasn't going to make the pick, but it was a late night pick. They were laying points. I laid 9 with Air Force. I don't like to lay points. I did it anyway in honor of Danny, and it was over by like the second quarter. It was beautiful. It was a really nice way to make money. So thank you, Danny. Even though you weren't here and had nothing to do with the pick, you're the reason I made it. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Laying points late at night. So fun.
There's always money in the West. Always money in the Mountain West.
There's always money in the banana stand.
What do you think is the worst bet to have to sweat out? Like a really low under and over that it's just there's like no chance in hell it's ever gonna hit, or like a favorite that like jumps out to like being down 2 touchdowns. Like,
so
what's
the
worst?
best one is one of those where you have a high over that still needs like 35 points and there's like 5 minutes left, but that can still hit in 5 minutes because you have 2 high-powered offenses. So like a Tennessee over that still needs like 35 points left at the end, but like it could still hit with 5 points left. So you're watching it and you know that you have no chance because you're 35 points away, but it could still hit because it's still there. It's still there.
I think
because they can just go
touchdown.
Oh,
yeah. I think when you're betting over. Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Matt.
Go ahead, Al.
I
No,
was
go
gonna say,
ahead.
when you bet an over and like 1 quarter in, you're like, this thing's dead, and then like you watch the next 2 quarters and you're like, they're just entertaining enough to where like I can like hang on to that shred of hope, but I still know it's not hitting. Then it just like falls apart at the end. I hate that. It's my least favorite bet, I think.
Mine's the similar situation where you're like, you have a dog and they're down 14, but they're an 8-point spread, and you're like, maybe I can backdoor, and then the favorite comes in and just like chokes the game away, a la like Pitt. They just ruin football for you, and you're in.
That's
Yeah.
even worse though, Matt, when they score to cover and you're like, okay, now the other team, they have the lead. All they got to do is just run the clock out and we win this thing. And then they score for absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or when
It's
they
like a
take a knee.
garbage reverse backdoor.
They take a knee for absolutely no reason. They like could have gone up by 2 touchdowns. They're like, no. If we take a knee, we definitely win. But instead of going up by 2 touchdowns, we don't want anybody to cover this minus 13 and a half.
You mean like
I
Saquon
have never
Barkley
been on
taking the
that
knee at
side.
the 1?
I've
Saquon Barkley
literally
taking the
never
knee at
been
the
on that
1
side of that, Danny.
to bone the total and the spread. That was nice.
Oh, that was such a. It was not even the
Very,
right
very
football play. That's not the
I
smart
know.
football play. You go up by
Not even
2
the right
touchdowns.
league.
Sorry.
All right. No, you're good. Let's go ahead and get into this week. We got a lot of picks to talk about, and we've got another standalone Wednesday night primetime game. And we're always going to give you picks on those because there's nothing else to watch. So we're all going to be watching it, even if it's crap football. So Al, what do you got for us in Georgia State, App State?
Yeah, so I'm taking 10.5 points with Georgia State. As Andy would say, it's too many points. App State had electric start to the season. I don't think any school started off as hot as, and not that they've done poorly as of late, but they just definitely come back down to earth a bit. Eked by Troy, dropped one to James Madison, close one, and then they lost to Texas State last week. So I think there's plenty of room for Georgia State to be able to cover the 10.5 here.
I wish the line was closer because I'm gonna be on the App State side of this at some point during the live betting, because I recognize their helmets better than I recognize Georgia State's helmets.
Yeah,
So that's
Georgia
who I want to bet on.
The Blue Panthers there, yeah.
Yeah, so I want to bet on App State. So I'm not going to take the minus 10.5. I feel like I might be able to get a better one during the game, or if they start running away with it, I'm just going to lay like 20 and see if they can hold it.
Danny, that actually reminds me of something like totally unrelated, but on Saturday, we were hanging out with one of my wife's friends, and so I was hanging out with her husband, and I guess we're buddies, but like I don't really know him that well. Well, halfway through the night, we figure out that we both bet, and the night got a lot more interesting after that.
Mm-hmm.
But he kept asking me for live bets, and I'm like, I don't live bet, but like I need to hook this guy up with Danny because he kept asking me for live bets. I was like, I guarantee you, Danny is live betting something right now,
Mm-hmm.
but I got nothing. So.
Oh.
There were some good live bets on the Seattle game on Sunday.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I bet.
All
I
right.
did not bet, but I bet there were.
Al, why don't you keep us rolling into Thursday night? It looks like you've got a pick for us there as well.
Yeah, so people are going to be familiar with Virginia, Georgia Tech, but that's not the game I've got to play on. We're going to Alabama. We're fading the USA again. This is something that one of us seems to have been doing all season long, with mixed results, but
no, with bad results. There's no mix.
Yeah, it's worked out very poorly.
I think I got one win in there maybe.
I think you bet on the USA for the win.
Yeah, I'm taking Troy plus 3.5 at South Alabama. I just think Troy is, an equal team to South Alabama. I think that this matchup here is essentially going to be for which team has a shot at the conference. And, I've heard Appalachian State and I've heard Troy as winners of that conference recently. I haven't heard South Alabama as conference winners recently. So I think there's a good chance Troy pulls the upset, and I'll take the points.
Nice. I like both of those. Both of those were leans for me. I didn't pull the trigger, but I'm glad you did, Al. So.
Makes me feel good that you concur, Andy. I love it. It's like a
all
warm,
right.
fuzzy blanket.
Let's continue on into Friday. Matt, you've got a game for us on Friday.
Yeah, I'm going to take you to Alabama, Birmingham versus Western Kentucky. Look, both teams can score a lot of points. Both teams have been formidable all year long. They're dominant in their conference. And I think the play here is 57.5. Go over it. It's going to be close, right? It may be a little stinky at points, but I think if you're going to play a side here, both teams can go out and win the game. They're both very talented. They're talented enough, but look at the points. They average around 30 to 35 points a game. So that would be the right move there. And Western Kentucky's not really that dominant on defense. And UAB has a middle of the road defense, but Western Kentucky is a good offense. So that's the play I'm going with, over 57.5.
Western Kentucky's quarterback has been playing great for the Patriots, so I'll probably take the over on this game as well.
I wish Zappy had more eligibility. I'd feel better about the over.
Yeah. I kind of liked UAB in this, not enough to even make a note of it, but I think because I haven't really seen enough of UAB, I just know that they're pretty good. But I bet that's going to be a really fun game to watch. It might be a fun one to live bet Friday night.
Yeah, it could be the kind of game if someone gets up early, right? Just take the other side and assume the game will stay close.
Only if it's Western Kentucky that gets up early. If UAB gets out to a big lead, I probably am not betting on Western Kentucky after that.
If we get a couple of slow starters on offense, and then you double down on the over at 40 something. Yeah,
if somebody's going to run away with it, though, I think it's more likely to be UAB, which means fade me and go big on the points the other way and see.
So that brings us into the noon slate on Saturday. And I think the first big game that we're going over here is Iowa-Ohio State. And I think Matt has a play. What you got?
Yeah. All right. So we have not been short on this show of making fun of Iowa and the shenanigans that Kirk Ferentz has been doing. We've been betting them under and winning a lot. I am going to take the points with Iowa. I'm going to take the 29 points against Ohio State. This bet probably smells, right? There's another one that doesn't feel good when you hear it, but 29 points is too many points. Iowa is really good on defense, and they're going to shorten the hell out of the game. They're going to punt, and they're going to run, and they're going to punt. And Ohio State's probably been the best team in the country so far this year, so I understand the risk there. Stroud's great. Probably the Heisman winner at this point. I just think 29 points is too many. And I think
it's reasonable to say they keep it within 15 safeties.
So I was looking at this game too, Matt. I mean, reasonably, I feel like, what do you get? 5 possessions a half in an Iowa game, max, right?
Yeah.
So if they're going to have to score on about half their possessions each half, to score, because I was probably going to get 1 touchdown, whether it's defensive or offensive, or an Iowa touchdown. So they're probably going to get to 7 points somehow. So you got to think that Ohio State's going to have to get to 35. That means they're going to have to score touchdowns on half their possessions against Iowa. It seems tough to me.
Sorry, is it still true that Iowa has a really good defense, or have they kind of fallen off?
They have a top 10 defense. They keep every game. They suffocate on defense, and they've got awesome special teams. If there is a ball to be made for a field goal, they're gonna get it. And I think Kirk Ferentz thinks that field goals are worth more than touchdowns because they're from usually longer distances than Iowa scores. But he doesn't clearly understand the points.
I can 100% see Kirk Ferentz saying it's called football, not handball, boys.
I honestly think it's just an easier way to win football games in Iowa because it's harder to get the guys that can score touchdowns to go to Iowa.
Oh no, it's much easier to find defenders, like big defenders, and be really good at special teams. It's hard to be skilled on offense. So yeah, I don't love it. I'm not going to tell you I love it. It's just too many points. I'm going to be doing that a lot this week as a heads up. I'm going to take a playbook, play out of Andy's playbook.
I like the pick.
I'm just going to go on record as being too cowardly to follow. I fully support though.
Yep, I looked at it long and hard. That's what she said. Let's take it into another big game for the noon slate. We've got Syracuse, who is ranked, going into Clemson, who is also ranked. And I think we got a lot of plays on this, but Danny, you haven't given us an official play yet, so we'll let you kick it off.
Yeah. So I'll start here. I've been talking shit about Clemson all season, and they showed me something in that Florida State game this week. It was like 5 plays and 3 touchdowns or something that they did that showed me that this Clemson offense or this Clemson team can score the way that the old Clemson teams did. So I think that they have a chance to really light this game up and win by more than 13 and a half, because I know Syracuse has the potential. I mean, they've beaten Clemson before, right? They've spoiled Clemson's season before, but I think that Syracuse in general is bad, and Clemson in general is good, and this in a normal season this wouldn't be only a 13 and a half point game, because Syracuse wouldn't be ranked 17 or whatever they are. They just haven't lost yet, and they're going to, because they're Syracuse. They're not going to go undefeated, and this is going to be the game they lose. You guys just think it might be by less than 2 touchdowns, and I think it'll be by 3 or 4 touchdowns. So I'm going to bet it.
Yeah, is this the saddest Cinderella story of the season? Like, nobody is like, ooh, Syracuse coming out of nowhere. It's like, oh, Syracuse is ranked? Yeah, just long enough for Clemson to demolish them. Like, which of these Syracuse?
There's a Southern bias when it comes to there's a Southern bias when it comes to the Cinderella stories, for sure. I would way rather it come out of the Midwest or the South than Syracuse, New York. I'm sorry, it's just
yeah. The which one of these games, which one of these Syracuse victories makes you think that Clemson isn't gonna just like take them to the woodshed?
Look, they
beating Louisville, beating UConn, beating Purdue, beting Virginia, beating Wagner, or beating NC State without their quarterback. You know,
it's got to be the UConn game, right, guys? You guys were impressed by that win.
Yeah, I'm a huge Husky fan over here. No, look, my only fear is I thought Clemson played really well against Florida State, and they gave Florida State just enough hope just to shit on it. So, and they do that middle eights crap, and they're really good at managing it. They do 4-minute offense just to kill you, and they're really good. Dabo's really good at it.
The other thing that Clemson did at the end of that game is they had I believe it was a 13-play, 13-yard drive, right, or something like that for 5 minutes. It was It was 9 plays, or no. Yeah, 9 plays, 13-yard drives or something like that. It ate up 5.5 minutes of the clock to close out that fourth quarter to sort of put FSU to bed.
How Iowa of them.
It was super Iowa. They basically needed 0 yards. They got 0 yards, 2 first downs, and ran enough plays to run the clock down. So FSU only had enough time for 1 more touchdown and an onside kick that they didn't recover.
And honestly, the scoreboard looked better than the end result of that game. I mean, FSU had chances to score a touchdown late, and they just didn't get it. And really, Clemson is very good. My only fear on this number is Florida State ran the ball very well against Clemson, and that's a good defensive front. And Syracuse is probably equally as good at running the ball. So I'll be curious to see what that ends up being the score. But I think the safe play here is lay the 13.5. Clemson hasn't – this is going to be the start of a long – did you know Clemson isn't going on the road in conference again this year? Not one more time on the road in conference again this year. They've already played their road slate of conference games. I think that they're going to start off, and this is going to be a kickstart of a really good end of the year, and they're going to be knocking on the playoff door. And it starts with this one, them covering the 13.5.
Now, I'm not betting this. My number said to take it, but I'm just allergic to laying that many points, so I'll let the three of you go with that. But if Syracuse wins this, are we looking at like a playoff at the end of the year that's going to include Tennessee, Syracuse? Like what a cluster!
The orangest playoff in the country.
All of the orange.
Kansas came back to reality already, so they're not going to make it. But there's some other schools out there that might.
TCU, man, TCU's not
TCU.
tribal.
It could be purple and yellow in the.
I'm just saying we might see some new names, but Syracuse is not going to
Bama lose again.
No, it's going to be Ohio State.
It's going to be a 2-loss Bama and a 1-loss Ohio State and a 2-loss Georgia. And a 4-loss Notre Dame.
Speaking of teams that are not getting back to the playoff anytime soon, I think, Al, you have a play on Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
That was beautiful, Andy. I love it. Yeah. So since he's going to SMU, since he's laying 3 points, and I am taking Cincy, that is an easy one for me. This is the exact kind of matchup where you're going to look up and go, oh, Cincinnati's up 4 touchdowns? Yeah, okay. And then you're going to not even look at that game again. Rhett Lashley is running things at SMU, and the way that offense works is it either works really well or it super doesn't. And you get like a million 3-and-outs because it's like high tempo, fast pace. When they're not catching the ball, it falls apart. So that's the kind of SMU performance I'm looking at this week. So Cincinnati, lay the points, take it to the bank.
Yeah, so I am also betting on this game. I am not laying the points with Cincinnati. I'm going over 61 or 61 and a half. I don't remember which number I got. And the reason I'm doing that is because Rhett Lashley's offense usually works. I mean, the only time it didn't this year was against UCF of all teams. They scored 40 on Navy, 34 on TCU, 27 on Maryland, and 45 on Louisiana Monroe. So, 19 against UCF was their only outlier there. Cincinnati's offense, usually a defensive team, Cincinnati. 28 against USF, we're going to call that an outlier. 31 against Tulsa, 45 against Indiana, 38 against Miami, Ohio, and 63 against Kennesaw State. So basically, you add up these two teams, there's only one game, that UCF game where it wouldn't have totaled over 60. So I think that the two offenses are gonna score points. SMU
40-something to 20-something. That's over 60.
Yeah. I mean, both these offenses are tend to score in the 40s. To high 20s is like their low bar. So
yeah, I like it.
Nice, Matt. You want to take us down south?
Yeah, we're
Miami?
going to go to Coral Gables, or I guess Miami Gardens. I'm going to lay 9 points with Miami.
drink a beer for calling it Miami Gardens or Coral Gables or whatever you're doing.
I'm sorry, the school's at Coral Gables, right?
Yeah, the stadium's in Miami Gardens.
So Danny, while Matt's chugging that beer, you got to try and make a case. What do you think his case is going to be for Miami?
Well, I hope he's saying Miami's going to win, but we're not. I don't know if you watched us barely beat Virginia
Here we
Tech.
go.
But
I'm going to lay the 9 points with University of Miami. Miami was unlucky statistically not to blow out Virginia Tech there. They let them get back in the game. They had a little bit of bad havoc luck, as they say. Additionally, 91% of the bettors are coming in on Duke, but the line is barely moved. It's actually moved against Duke and from 8.5 to 9, which makes me think the big money is on Miami, even if the numbers are different. So with that being said, I do think Miami's a better team. The number sinks because you would think Duke's been playing pretty well. Miami hasn't. I think Miami's infinitely more talented. I think their defense is going to be what keeps this game. I think this number is going to be low. It's going to be like an underplay. And I think Miami's going to win the 9, cover the 9.
Does Duke have a receiver that can run faster than like 4 or 5?
I don't know. Hopefully they don't go to Middle Tennessee and start recruiting kids, right?
Yeah. They just need one. They just need one that can run faster than 4 or 5, and we're going to stay in man, and all they have to do is hit him in stride.
What are we looking at weather-wise down there this weekend, boys? Because is it going to be cool, or is it going to be like 90 degrees and brutal with those Duke boys?
It hasn't been as hot recently.
Boys all in the sun.
It hasn't been as hot recently, but if you saw that Minnesota Dolphins game, the sidelines were still hot. They were showing the temperature, and like the Dolphins sideline just 95, but that Minnesota sideline 130.
So they say a high of 80 and a low of 68. So let's assume the 80 and overcast. So
it means
rain.
Feels
like 90. It'll probably be a warm one, but it won't be blistering hot.
In October, those numbers mean rain.
Oh, definitely. It's going to rain. University of Miami
rain.
Always rain. They're right as rain.
It's going to rain on the tailgate for sure.
But literally, it's just a numbers play, right? The numbers indicate that Miami should be a lot better, and the bettors are saying the same thing. Even if the volume of bets are going, the money isn't changing. So
I have to do everything I can not to bet on this game because I'm going to be there and I'm going to be sitting in the stands and I'm going to be like, Missy, take my phone. Take my phone. I can't do anything.
You can't be trusted. You need one of those like Ziploc bags that you have at concerts, like where they lock it away.
Like a shot collar.
That's actually what I need. Shot collar. Every time I'm pulling it out, just
All right. So the next pick we've got moving on to 2 p.m. Eastern is mine. I'm taking Eastern Michigan plus 3 points at Ball State. Eastern Michigan's offense sputtered last week, but they should still be the best unit on the field here. I want to look for them to get back on track against Ball State. My official pick is Eastern Michigan plus the 3, but I actually think the wrong team might be favored here. So I'm probably going to end up putting Eastern Michigan in my money line round robin by the end of the week. But officially, I'm locking up Eastern Michigan plus 3. And since this is such a huge game for the weekend, I'm sure other people have opinions here, right?
Well, I was gonna say, I feel like I'm really slacking in my action this season. I haven't been keeping track on the Mac.
it's not on Tuesdays.
It's kind of whack how slack I've been on the Mac. I really need to, be better, get back to the Mac. So that's it. I just wanted to say a bunch of rhymes.
I like betting on Ball State because I like saying Ball State. But
Good
I'm
name
not.
to say.
Yeah,
Fair
I'm not.
enough.
I'm not betting this game.
Ball State gets me like tingly because I think I won by fading them, and then the next week they were the random number generator pick, and I took them and they covered. So I think I made money on them 2 weeks in a row here. So yeah, I like it.
I want to
Did
have a segment.
you guys do the random? I listened, but I don't remember. Did you guys do the random number generator last week?
We
Your
did.
boy
And
lost.
Yeah.
What was the game? What was the game?
Western
Ohio
Michigan.
and Western
Ohio
Michigan.
at Western
Yeah,
Michigan.
Did you guys all
I
take
hate-
Ohio?
I did because I'm smart.
The rest
Yeah,
of us
you
took
are.
Western Michigan.
Oh, dummies.
I hate the random number generator. I hate it. I'm
We're doing it
0-2.
again. We're
We've
doing
done
it
it 2 weeks. I've lost them both. And both of those weeks I was like 7-2. And one of my
Yeah.
losses was the freaking
Oh,
random number generator.
don't count it against your real record. It's just for fun.
No, you got to, buddy.
no,
No,
gotta
we're
count.
counting them, man.
It's not just for fun. Nothing is for
No.
fun.
We'll
Nothing's
keep
for
doing it because the
fun.
madder I
This is
get,
for fun.
the madder I
Well, yeah,
get,
for sure.
the better the content will be as I continue to lose these over and over and over again.
All right.
All right, so I think I have the next pick as well, taking us to another huge playoff implication matchup. We're going to Rice at Louisiana Tech. I'm taking Louisiana Tech plus the 3.5. Both of these teams are coming off disappointing losses, but Louisiana Tech gets to head home while Rice will be on the road for a second straight week. And I have these teams rated evenly. So if you're going to give me points with one of them, I'm going to take it, especially if it stays over a field goal. So Louisiana Tech plus 3.5.
This one I like on the money line as a home dog.
Same here. That's a nice play. I like Louisiana Tech there.
Yeah,
Not
fair.
in the
I don't
money
know
line
shit.
parlay. I don't think the juice is good enough for a money line parlay. I just like the bet.
I think
Look at, like,
if you were fading
plus
Rice
120.
against anyone, I'd probably say, yeah, that sounds right.
Before we go to the next game, can I ask you boys a question?
Yes.
Northwestern is only Maryland's only a 13.5 point favorite against Northwestern. Like, doesn't that stink a little bit? Doesn't that feel like there should be more? And that Northwestern team.
Tua's brother can play.
Yeah, is he hurt? Did he get
Tawa?
hurt?
We should draft them.
we could have
healthy?
two Tagovailoa.
Whichever one's not hurt can play.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just saw that number on there and I thought it was interesting. 13.5 doesn't seem like enough points. That Northwestern team sucks. They suck out loud.
I
Sorry.
would agree, especially the game's in Maryland. And yeah, Northwestern hasn't looked good since that week 1 win against Nebraska. And even then they didn't look good. They just happened to win.
They just happened to beat a really bad Nebraska team.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Tua
I like that play.
2.0 got hurt in the Indiana game statuses this week.
Okay, well, that for everyone out there, that would be one to eyeball because that number doesn't make much sense. That Northwestern team's not very good, and Maryland's good offensively. They're super fun to watch. But sorry for derailing.
I think that's
he was carted off the field.
Ooh,
I didn't.
okay,
was
he
not
was
aware
hurt.
of that.
Okay.
Never
All I
mind.
know is that somebody made a comment about how it must suck to be like the family of the Tagovailoas because they, and I was like, I don't know, that doesn't sound like a good thing, but
No, it doesn't.
yeah.
Yeah, it said he was getting an MRI on Sunday.
He'll be
But
fine. They're tough.
They don't know more than that.
Those are tough boys.
Okay.
He'll be fine.
That's always been your opinion too, right, Danny?
Always. My whole life.
So Matt, you
So
flipping to
Shane.
Northwestern now?
Not a
I'm
tough
not
flipper.
going to bet it at all, but Maryland will still probably cover. Let's go to Eugene, where I think Andy and Al have a play. UCLA going into Oregon. Really, this is the top 11 matchup. I know they're both ranked really high right now.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go first here. I think this should be a great game. Lots of scoring. It's one of the ones I'm most looking forward to watching this weekend. I cannot believe the disrespect that UCLA is getting. I know the game is in Eugene, but even so, I have this game as a coin flip on a neutral field. So if Oregon was laying 2.5 or 3, I get it. But 6.5 is just disrespectful. Chip Kelly and DTR are going to make them pay for that disrespect. So I'm riding with UCLA in the 6.5 all day.
Yeah,
Al,
I think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of the side here. I think it definitely makes sense to take the points in this one. But I could also see Oregon. I don't know. I don't know. So what my thought was is we're going to see a lot of points, and I know this one's sitting at 70.5, and I know it's probably going to be a lot of squares following this going over 70.5. I don't think I'm going to officially lock it in as a play here, but it's going to be one I watch. If I do well in my first few plays here, I might be thinking to put a little something on that over. It sounds like a lot of points, but honestly, do you think
It's a lot of
either of
points.
these teams isn't going to hit 30? You know what I mean? I think both these teams are probably going to hit 30, so then you're only needing another 10 points or so. So I don't
It's a
know.
lot of points. They might not
Something
both hit
something
30.
I'm considering. Okay.
I'm going to watch it. I don't have a lean. I would lean towards the UCLA number just because they seem pretty even. But on the road is tough.
Yeah, I mean, I think if UCLA covers and or wins, you'd probably want to tag the over along with it because I think it's unlikely they're going to win the game without getting into a shootout. But yeah, that's just a thought. So not an official play, but over is where the lean is there.
All right. Can I take us to Stillwater?
You do it.
You
All right.
sure can.
All right. We got
Speaking
Texas.
of still water, let's get some moving water in this can.
All right. Fair enough. Let's go to Texas is going to Oklahoma State. Texas won a squeaker against Iowa State, which you heard here on ChuggieBets. We said fade Texas. We all faded Texas, and it worked out lovely. And Oklahoma State absolutely pooped the game away against TCU up there. They were up 18 in the fourth quarter and ruined the game. Look, I have this game projected as closer to a pick 'em. Both teams are really good, and you're going to give me 6.5 points as the home favorite. I'm going to take the 6.5 points. Oklahoma State's really good. Look, I get Texas. Quinn Ewers could eventually be the Heisman. He can be the number one pick one day. I like Derek Mason's defense. I think he's going to make things close. They went against a juggernaut in TCU, and I don't mean that as a joke. TCU's offense is legit great. And they were in the ball game. Spencer Sanders did just enough to keep them close, and they were up big, like I said, and they just ruined it at the end. I'm going to take the points. Too many points for them to be at home. 6.5. If it gets to 7, I'm going to double down. So Oklahoma State, take the 6.5 points.
Every time you say Derek Mason's defense, I just think of why is a wide receiver coaching defense. But
yeah, fair enough. But
he's good at it. He's good at it.
He is. I'm
gonna follow this play. I'm actually gonna make it an official play too, but it's mostly because every time I fade Texas, they win, and I want to keep that trend going for my dad.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I feel like
Look,
it's a little too much faith you guys are putting in Spencer Sanders.
I'm not putting faith in Spencer Sanders. I think Oklahoma State's a really good team. I think I told you last week my apology to the Big 12 when I was crapping on them. They have a lot of really good teams, and I think it's a battle of two really good teams. And I'm going to give the 6.5 points at home. I don't think Texas should be a 6.5 point favorite. I think they can be a favorite, but it would be closer to 2.5.
4 points is enough value to make a bet. In college
That's
football.
my idea. Andy, I don't know if you've looked at projections for this or if you had a thought.
I haven't looked. I can tell you what my numbers have it at. Let me see.
While we do that, what does an Al drink?
Chuggy.
Has some entertainment value.
Matt, you are right on it. My numbers have this at Texas minus 2.5.
Yeah,
So
that sounds right.
Yep.
It feels like the right play.
exactly.
And everyone loves Texas. As soon as Texas does anything, right, the bettors hit the windows hard. And I'm willing to bet against Texas.
I forgot to
every
breathe
time.
before I started this.
There's some good ASMR.
Yeah. I have a theory that everybody's always asking, is Texas back? Is Texas back, right? If you have to ask, the answer is no, right? It's like one of those places where like, how much is this? And like, if you have to ask, you can't afford it. No. If you're asking, they're not back.
Yes.
I think
love it.
Texas will be back next year, though. I think I was very anti-Texas to begin the year and anti-USC, and it looks like I'm an idiot and Tennessee. I look like I'm extremely wrong on all three of those. But I think if Quinn Ewers stays around, their defense is so much better. They're markedly improved, but it's going to be a close game. It's going to be closer than 7 points.
Should be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Al, do you want to take us to the lesser Miami?
Yeah. So one thing I'm going to keep an eye out on is what the Miami, Ohio team total comes out at. Based on the game total and the spread, it should be something around 26 points. If that's the case, I'm definitely going to play the over. Western Michigan is big time trash. The Miami of Ohio is favored by about 6 points in this one, and it's a pretty low total, 45.5, and I could definitely see Miami of Ohio scoring the lion's share of those points. So that's one thing I'm going to keep an eye out on Saturday.
Yeah, do we have the team total out at all, or no? We just got to wait for a couple days.
Yeah,
Team totals come out Thursday or Friday. Yeah.
Okay. 26 is a good number. I like that. I didn't even think about team totaling that. And I would be in. I love a good team total.
Yeah, you're right on the number, Al, where I would expect it to be. So
yeah.
All right, let's go to Death Valley. Anybody? We're going to Death Valley. Ole Miss. The Fighting Kiffins are going into Boudreaux's house. Danny, you got to play on this?
Yeah, so I am definitely going to take the Ole Miss money line. I think they're getting 2 points, so I'm going to look at this game a lot. This is probably my favorite play of the favorite game of the 3:30 window. I like Ole Miss's offense. Obviously, they score like 40 points against everybody except Kentucky. So I'm going to look at that team total over.
Yeah, it looks like you're at about 105 is about the best number currently.
Yeah.
I was seeing. No, I definitely saw a better number than that.
Hey, there's probably a 115 out there.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I see 113. So, you can move it down to 113 if you want.
I see it too. I got a 113 out here.
Okay. Interesting Action Network.
So, yeah, taking the money line at 113. I'm going to look at the team total over. I mean, LSU. I don't think Florida is really that great of a team, and they beat them by 10. LSU hasn't really been playing amazing. I know that they got the home game here. They got blown out by Tennessee. They barely beat a bad Auburn team. I just think LSU's having an off year, and Ole Miss has really been running away with really every game they've played this year. So, I
think it's the right side.
I think the Ole Miss money line and I think the Ole Miss team total over are the two bets I'm going to look at for this game.
I get incredibly scared when the ranked team goes on the road to the unranked team and they're the dog. It's weird. I don't understand the line because I'm with you. I think Ole Miss is on a neutral site. I think they're 10 points better, right? Why the hell are they a 2.5 point dog? Like, it's something stinks. But yeah, I join you. I join you. I'm just scared. Something doesn't feel right.
Yeah, the fact that
their coach likes to party and it's Louisiana, so maybe
I guess.
Little Bourbon Street Blues.
it's not. It's not.
I think the fact that LSU put it to Florida and that this game is in Death Valley, those two things combined scared me off this one. But I do think Ole Miss is the right side to be on.
And the
They're
name
the better team.
recognition, like LSU all weekend. I don't know if you guys heard all day yesterday on Sunday. They kept talking about Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase going back to where they won it all. Like there was a lot of talk about like the LSU national championship yesterday. So I think there's just like name recognition too. But
Yeah,
Maybe.
I agree. It's a weird line.
It doesn't. The line doesn't make any sense. They should at least be like a 4-point favorite in a hostile environment, right? 3.5, something like that.
We've talked a little bit about how the SEC's kind of been losing that 3:30 window that they always dominate, but I think they're back with this game.
No, I'm the
that's a
3:30
good
window.
window, man.
It's a good window.
Texas, OK State,
Texas OK State's good, but I like this game.
FIU, Charlotte,
Oh,
UCLA, Oregon is also that window
almost
too.
said FIU Charlotte is a play. I almost took Charlotte. I almost laid those points. There was a lot of them to lay though.
Yeah.
You guys don't think the Big Ten's winning that one with Purdue at Wisconsin?
So I think that if you want to watch a boring football game, if you want to watch running and punting,
Purdue's not boring. They're the one Big Ten team that isn't terrible to watch. I mean, Ohio State too, but I'm saying like
they'll dictate the game. They'll dictate the game over Wisconsin this year too, because Wisconsin's pretty bad. So maybe.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a play at 4 o'clock. Sorry, 4 o'clock. Danny is probably going to hate this one, but sometimes you just have to, needle your friends a little bit. It makes it more fun. I am taking Arizona State plus 3 points at Stanford. I know Stanford is coming off a big win at Notre Dame, but Marcus Freeman must have forgotten to go to confession or something, and his offense got cursed because of it. I promise you it had nothing to do with Stanford's defense. They still stink. I am absolutely hammering Arizona State. I actually think that they are better than Stanford. They should be favored here. Sun Devils all day.
So I don't hate it as much as you
Really?
think I might. I've been saying that I think Stanford isn't that bad, but they keep proving me wrong every week, except last week where I think Notre Dame did their best to try and prove me right, but Stanford did their best to try and prove me wrong, and Notre Dame won that battle of being bad over Stanford. This is the bet, like an interim head coach staying hot. I don't really like the bet because of that with Arizona State. I think the interim head coaches all stayed hot last week, and I think that there might be a regression to the mean here this week, and this might be one of those games because Stanford's better than everybody thinks they are.
Yeah.
I love it. Just gonna die on that hill. I love it. All right.
I have zero interest and zero read on that game. So
That's exactly the same boat I am in. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to know it exists. I'm just going to watch the other 3 games we talked about at 3:30 and wait till 7.
No, I was going to leave this one off the list, obviously.
No, I'll turn this one on for the last 30 minutes. When all the 3:30 games have ended, this one will still have 30 minutes left, and I'll watch the last 30 minutes.
Have you watched the Stanford game yet? This game's going to be over.
It'll be over before
If it's over, it's
window.
over. I'm not going to cry about missing it.
Yeah.
Well, while you guys are watching awful football,
Definitely before the Ole Miss game. This game's going to be over before the Ole Miss game. I'll make a chuggy bet with you right now that this game ends before the Ole Miss game.
Ooh,
No,
that's
I'm
fun.
good.
Do it.
I'm good. Thanks, though. I will make you chug a beer right now, though, Danny. So.
Cheers.
While you guys are watching awful football, I'm going to be watching Vanderbilt, Missouri. At Missouri, I get Missouri's had some nice. They've been playing a little bit better this year. 14 points feels like too much. Just strictly on that 14, I think I saw for 14 a hook somewhere. If it gets up there, I feel really good about it. But 14 feels like too many points to be given up to Vanderbilt.
That one on SEC Network Internet streaming only?
It's on pay-per-view. It's stadium. So yeah, that it's not a good game, but it just feels like too many points when I was looking at the numbers. I don't think Vanderbilt's that bad. I don't think Missouri's that good. And I mean, Missouri will win. They'll win by 10, 11, 13. Yeah. They may win by 14. Shit, but I don't care. As long as they
I think that's a fun, smart little play you got there on a game that I think a lot of people just scroll right by. I like it.
So Matt, every now and then if beers start flowing early, if I mow the lawn before the college football starts. In this case, if there's a tailgate, Miami played, maybe we lost. I'm trying to make a bet. I see one of these games like this. The money line's up there in the 400s.
Ooh, I like that.
I don't put it in a parlay. I'm just like, ooh.
I will say, I believe it was it our first podcast or the second one when we went over Vandy's schedule?
This is the
SEC.
one
This is
SEC
the
game that
one
they have a
SEC
shot to win.
game We said they have a decent shot to win.
Not decent shot. It's a long shot. It's a long shot, but
their most realistic opportunity to win SEC game.
This is
they
the
got
only
a game against South Carolina coming, I believe. But yes, these are the two. When we talk about the Vandy over.
Well, if
they already hit the season win total over though, so who cares?
If they hit plus 460, they won't be the only one coming. Is that too much? Sorry,
nope,
all the
nope.
ladies.
It's just the right amount, Al. Just the right amount.
So the rest of the afternoon.
Can you chug a beer and burp again while you say that, though?
Coming.
All right. The rest of the afternoon looks like absolute dog shit, but Arkansas State, Louisiana could be interesting. If there's some betting lines out there, some under bets you could probably look at. I don't know if anyone else has anything before we get into prime time.
Nobody wanted to lay like 100 points on San Jose versus New Mexico State.
Oh, I love San Jose State.
Me too. I wanted to bet it, but I didn't. I thought one of you guys was going to.
I felt disrespected by them for shitting the bet against Fresno.
Yeah, everyone on this podcast loves. Well, maybe not Andy, but the rest of us love both those teams very much, and it was a hard pill to swallow when San Jose State didn't cover.
It's like seeing your friends fight.
Yeah, San Jose and Fresno, but Fresno didn't have Hainer, so I was kind of okay watching them.
Yeah.
Fight.
Well, they won. They won, so you should have felt.
I know. Anyway. So we going to Mississippi State Bama then? We're skipping the rest of these crappy games.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's a couple of shitty New Mexico teams that we can skip over.
I know.
This one's easy. Laying 20.5. I checked all the books and I saw 20.5 at one of them, and I was like, pounce. I think most of them were 21.5.
It's over to 21.5 now on most of them. I think you can get 21.
Yeah, when I got it at 20.5, I was like, I have to. It's begging me, so I'm doing it. This is the Nick Saban. Who the fuck do you think you are? Losing a game, you sons of bitches. Get right. And it's at home. Mississippi State is a team that I think, while good, is definitely someone that Bama can manhandle. Bryce Young.
Blackman's the quarterback at Mississippi State, right?
Will Rogers.
Oh, Blackman's
Arkansas
State.
Yeah,
Arkansas State.
Another state or two over. The Bryce Young offense, after having shaken off a little rust against Tennessee, I think Nick Saban is probably going to switch some things up defensively, because that, like I said, that Bama defense is sus, big time sus. It's like they're going
to clean up some penalties, man.
They're not a bad defense, but they're a bad Alabama defense, like outright bad Alabama defense. So
they're a very undisciplined team for Alabama. Like, you don't see Alabama commit these kind of penalties. You don't see an Alabama team try and pick up. You don't see an Alabama team try and pick up a punt when it's just bouncing around. That's something you see a Miami team do. This is not a Nick Saban coach team.
I'll say I don't think it's a discipline thing as much as it is a just lack of talent, and maybe not talent, but like awareness. It's a lot of DBs grabbing because they already blew their assignment. It's a lot of like, bullshit penalties like that. There's not a lot of like false starts and stuff that you would assign to like a more undisciplined team.
That's a good point.
The flubbing the punt, and that was obviously not smart, not a great move. But I do think the secondary, especially with Bama, is the big issue on that end. So, but I'm still laying 20.5.
One of these fired coaches, whatever the best one of the fired coaches, is going to be coaching DBs in Alabama next year.
Oh, Matt Rule, DB coach at Bama next year.
Wow. Matt
No,
Rule.
Matt Rule's getting a real job.
No,
Matt
he's
Rule's getting
getting
a real
so
job
many
at
jobs. He's got so many jobs lined up. He's going to be in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
So
He's going to be
fast.
Wisconsin's coach or something like that.
Holy crap.
Oh.
No, I'm kind of with you, Al. I'm going over
Oklahoma.
61.5 on this game. I think Alabama's going to score a ton. Will Anderson doesn't play great for Alabama. Their defense isn't great. It's weird. Will Anderson's going to be the number 1 pick or one of the top 2 picks, and he's great when he's really good. The rest of that defense ain't the same. That ain't the Bama defense that you're accustomed to your point. And I think, look, I don't know what's going on with Kentucky where they keep every game boring. They made Mike Leach boring last week, and that's a real travesty. It's an American tragedy that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you can keep Mike Leach boring for 2 weeks. I think he's going to come out there, say some racy things, eat a conch fritter, and throw the ball around, and I'm excited about it. So take the over 61.5.
He's going to give you plenty of wedding planning advice too.
Of course, he's a sage. He's a sage. He's going to give you investment advice. It's like getting investing advice from John Daly. You don't know where you're going to go, but you know it's going to be fun.
He looks like a cranky.
I feel like investment advice from John Daly is something you probably want to take. It's not going to be good investment advice, but it's going to work.
It's going to work. It's going to hit the driver out of the sand, but somehow it carried.
Exactly. So you see Mike Leach as a conch fritter guy. I kind of see him as a crab cake guy, but I know he's a keys guy, so maybe conch fritters is the way he goes.
Yeah, I could also.
I feel like he gets the crab cakes in the keys.
No. He's a cheeseburger in paradise guy.
Yeah.
I just made a note for an off-season episode. We were talking about all of our favorite food from the Keys. So
yeah, no, Mike Leach is 5 cocktails and then he eats whatever's on the menu. Right? He drinks his lunch and then figures out the sandwich later. Which God bless him, as we're on a podcast where we're chugging beers. I'm not hating him.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, extremely relatable.
You're doing a podcast for 4 people,
so you get relatable coach in college football.
Oh,
probably.
I can't think of anyone else.
Lane Kiffin? Oh.
He's too handsome.
Lane Kiffin would drink at Busch Light on a podcast. He would be so annoyed in 8 minutes of the show. He would just hang up.
Lane Kiffin's like what I aspire to be when I'm taking out my father-in-law's boat.
Yeah.
Everything about that statement sounds like Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Al, you want to take us to Happy Valley?
Yeah, I think just for posterity, though, Matt, I really like that over, and I'll probably tell you on it for the Bama game. That sounds like it's probably even a smarter move. But going to Happy Valley, I'm going to lock this one in. Penn State -4.5, hosting Minnesota. Penn State just got embarrassed by Michigan. They held their own pretty good. I guess here's the deal. I'm going to make this contingent on Sean Clifford's health. That's what I'll do. So if he's a go, this play is a go. If he's not, then I'll just lay off. But I do think
he's going to move the line if he.
I was just going to say that this line will be gone if he plays. It'll be.
I don't know.
Closer to a touchdown.
At least announcers seem very impressed with this Aller backup at Penn State, who's gotten reps now in at least a handful of games. So I don't think the Penn State offense is going to be inept without Clifford. But I do think the team is going to know what they're dealing with this week. So if they plan on him starting, they will, build the offense around that guy versus Clifford. But I do think Clifford, I feel a lot better at 4.5 with Clifford being the one that's starting. But I don't know what his shoulder situation is. That's all. The end.
All right, Danny, do you want to take us to the next one? UCF at East Carolina?
Yeah, so usually when a team hangs a number like 70, like UCF did Thursday night, you would want to go the other direction. But I feel like UCF's offense has just been clicking on all cylinders, so I'm gonna just stick with it and lay the 5. I think Al, you were thinking the other way on this, but I don't think ECU's all that good, and I think UCF just they're rolling right now.
Yeah, so my thought was I saw 5.5 with ECU earlier today. That's gone now. I don't think I'll play this at the end of the day, but I think it's one of those ones I'll be watching so I can say, haha, I told you so, you know? I think ECU has a home run hitter that they use on offense in special teams, so special teams could be a factor here. I think UCF having just hung 70, a lot of people are feeling a lot more comfortable laying the points with UCF now. Going to East Carolina, always a tough, not as easy as having this one being down here in Orlando. So I don't know. I see a few
ECU just
things.
gave up 45 to Memphis. Just throwing that out there. ECU just gave up 45 points to Memphis. So
Yeah, Memphis is
Maybe
good.
we bet the over.
Yeah, okay.
yeah, they won 47-45 in the Memphis game. Over does look good, but I still am laying the 5 because I think UCF's gonna hang like a 60 burger on.
Yeah.
The number is 64.
64. So it's up there
Danny,
already.
did I hear you're betting against ECU?
Yeah.
ECU.
Oh,
East Carolina University.
Oh, you love Coastal Carolina. I always forget the one that you love and you always bet.
Yeah, my football coach in high school went to East Carolina. I love the quarterback for Coastal Carolina. Grayson. I always think he's Grayson Allen or something.
Grayson
It's
McCall.
Grayson something else.
Grayson McCall.
There it is.
That sounds like
Grayson Allen sings country music.
I was gonna say Grayson McCall sounds like someone who sings country music. Here's that new hit single from Grayson McCall. Keep on trucking.
Hopefully he will one day. I think there is a guy that played at Coastal Carolina that sings country music.
Probably.
I think everybody that sings country music went to Coastal Carolina.
Didn't Eric Church go to Coastal Carolina?
App State.
App State.
Thank you.
Luke Combs.
Luke Combs.
Luke Combs went till he got his GED online. Guarantee it. That man did not go to college. That man thinks about Waffle House.
Tailgate at Miami on.
That's a really good point.
Probably
We're talking about where all these guys went to college. Most of them probably didn't go to college.
Yeah.
All right. So
Andy,
the next game on our list here, Texas A&M at South Carolina. I don't like laying points, but this is a short number. I'm laying the points with Texas A&M -3. Their defense is going to be the best unit on the field, and defense travels. Last time we saw them, they were just a few plays away from possibly beating Bama, and then they've had a week off to rest and recover for that. The line is creeping up, so if it gets to 3.5, 4, I would probably not play it. But if you can get it -3 or better, I like Texas A&M laying those points.
Yeah, it's a really good line. What the hell what has South Carolina done where anyone believes that Texas A&M won't beat them by 3?
I think it's more what Texas A&M hasn't done.
I was going to say Spencer Rattler versus average A&M defense, maybe.
Yeah, but the last touch point that everyone's had on Texas A&M, they could have beat Alabama. They were goal to go.
Yeah,
it's very confusing. A very confusing line.
Yeah,
maybe people saw A&M play Miami.
So,
yeah.
I kind of don't
on national television. That was on national television, and then we lost to Middle Tennessee.
I kind of don't hate South Carolina on the money line in this one, to be honest. It's probably not good value, but you could probably get a good live number.
I would take the under on how long this game lasts. Like if there was a time frame of how long, I feel like they're just going to run the ball and then wait until like the play clock's done and then run it, then take a knee.
Ray Beamer's going to throw the ball. He's going to throw the ball with Rattler. It's going to be a higher. We can set a time. You want to do 3.5, 3.5 hours?
I feel like Jimbo's going to run the water boy offense on this. Just take 3 deep back onto the field.
All right, let's take it to Louisville. And Andy and I are in the same line here. Andy, start us off, and I'll finish us up.
All right, so I think Pitt is good. They're 4-2. One of those losses came to Tennessee, which after this past weekend, the past couple of weeks, actually, it does not look like a bad loss at all. Now, their other loss was a head scratcher to Georgia Tech.
Not good.
Louisville had a head scratcher that exact same day, and they lost to Boston College. So we're just going to chalk that up to a weird day. There was something in the water.
ACC.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like just better here.
Miami always loses to somebody and ruins their season at the end. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to throw out those two games. And if you ignore those, I think Pitt is a significantly better team here. I have Pitt by a pretty wide margin. So I'll take them plus the points or money line. I don't care either way. What do you think, Matt?
Here's the key. Here's the key. Malik Cunningham is in the concussion protocol for college, and I don't know what the hell that means. And I don't know if Scott Satterfield knows what that means. But why the hell? They give up – Louisville has one of the worst havoc ratings, which means they give up giant plays. And I'm going to try it. Here we go, guys. Israel Abanaconda is awesome. The running back for Pitt is a monster. He's going to run
so good.
a billion times. It's going to be awful to watch. But the game will be. I think Pitt's going to have the advantage on the offensive side. He can break long runs, and especially if Malik Cunningham isn't playing, I'm willing to bet this in the assumption that Malik Cunningham is or isn't playing. But if he isn't playing, I feel great about the line. So,
what's their offensive coordinator's name
for Pitt? Whipple.
Yeah.
No, not Mike Whipple. Who is Pitt's offensive?
Starts with a D or something. It's I hate him. Anyway, he's always dragging games into the mud. But their running back is so good that he's made them not boring. I had their game on 2 weeks ago. Their game was on the TV and I kept watching. He ran for like 400 yards. He just kept breaking runs.
He's awesome.
Every time he got the ball, it's like 12, 13 yards. He doesn't just take these little 3 yards to get his long. Oh, it's great. He's awesome.
Frank Signetti Jr.
Frank Signetti.
Yeah.
Pitt's always had good running backs, right? And this should be no surprise that Israel Abanaconda is really good. And I could be saying that wrong, but kudos to the kid. I'm trying my damnedest here. I've watched him.
I like it a lot better. It's a really good.
Narduzzi is who I was thinking of, by the way.
It's a really good sequel to We Bought a Zoo.
Abanaconda. That's real bad.
For a really long time, I didn't know if their coach's name was Pat Narduzzi or Patton Arduzzi, because I'd only heard it on like podcasts and like podcasts. Like, it could very easily be Patton Narduzzi.
It's like having only read the word chameleon. You're like chameleon.
Exactly.
I think you just admitted to something that you didn't want to admit to, Al.
All right. We're a little bit past the hour mark. We got 2 games left to go here. The next one is one that I'm on all by myself. Utah State at Wyoming. I bet against Utah State last week and won, but we're going to flip it around because the way to win in betting is not having any loyalty at all to teams. I think both of these teams are bad. Utah State and Wyoming are both bad. Don't watch this game. I'm not going to watch this game. But neither of these teams deserve to be favored. So if you're going to give me above a field goal with one of them, I'm taking the points with Utah State.
Could be a tough day in Laramie. Could be windy. The weather's always shitty there. So, yeah, I think that's probably the right play.
All right.
Let's go to Berkeley.
Yep, go ahead, Matt.
Look, this Washington team played great against UCLA. Ever since they played great against UCLA, they played like dog shit everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I understand that Cal didn't exactly impress last week going against Colorado. But I think the line is weird with the hook. I'm going to take the 7.5 points there. So that's it. That's
sometimes when you're live betting and a team is going against Colorado and they're losing and you're getting plus money and you think Colorado's not going to win a game, you should stop after 5-6 units. You should just stop.
What if you had a farm, Danny? If you had a farm, should you bet that?
If you had a farm, you should not bet that farm. You would be farmless if you made that bet. I don't have a farm anymore due to live betting on Colorado. But I basically Cal sucks. Fuck you, Cal. Washington's winning this game.
So
I am loyal.
Exactly. You're betting against Cal.
I'm betting with emotions. So I'm betting against Cal.
It's always
I think they're going
safest
to
to
lose
bet
by
with
100.
emotions.
Yeah, it is.
I'm-
It is, and I'm going to win this bet with emotions.
I'm on Matt's side here. I'm taking Cal
Fuck
plus
you,
the
Cal.
7.5.
You guys are wrong. Did you guys see the? Did you guys see what happened? They lost.
Yeah.
Fucking Colorado.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
bad. It was bad, and I don't have any excuse for them really. I guess you could say that Cal was coming off a loss at Washington State, and then they knew they had this game, on the flip side of it. So I'm not a huge believer in sandwich spots, but you could say it was a sandwich spot.
Your argument is they lost to Washington State and Colorado. They're going to beat Washington.
Yeah, exactly. They get to come home, and they're facing a Washington team that has definitely come back down to earth. Right? I haven't heard anybody talk about Penn envy in a long time. Right? That is over. That is done with. They lost to Arizona State, and they played Arizona the week after, and yeah, they won, but they could have lost that game. That game really could have gone either way right until the fourth quarter. So
the new coach, the hot new coach, they lost that game. All right, whatever.
But Danny, they're going to play in front of
That
hundreds of people. It's going to be a real home field advantage. Look, I'm a Cal Bears fan too. It's one of the teams I root for. But that team, I get it. I just think Washington's been playing worse. The numbers indicate that Cal's the play, and it's just the play. It's just the play. I did miss one game, and I really want to take you guys there because it is an absolute dog shit game of the day. I have Hawaii at Colorado State, right? It's a game. I'm telling you, listeners, if you watch this, either you have like a serious problem or you gamble too much. I'm going to bet it, but I'm not going to watch it at all. Under 46.5. Offense is non-existent in this game. Under 46.5 at Colorado State. 4 p.m.
I have another take. If you watch this game, I want to know what satellite package you have. Because I need it.
You got Fubo Plus or Fubo Plus.
Sometimes Fubo Plus doesn't even have everything.
Under 46.5 in Colorado State, Hawaii. I love low unders, and these two teams suck on offense. It's gonna be a Big Ten punt fest.
all right, I know we're a little over on time already, but we have not even spoken about Kansas State TCU. Do we want to touch on it just super quickly? Does anybody have thoughts?
There are the good teams in the Big 12.
I don't know.
It's a Big 12 game. So they're good.
Adrian Martinez in a big game. When's that ever gone poorly?
Look, I've been preaching about Max Duggan and TCU for like 5 straight weeks. I think that's a great team. I love Sonny Dykes. I love everything they do. This looks like a scary spot. I don't have a lean here. I would normally like to lean TCU at home. 3.5 points at home. Kansas State always messes things up, and I'm just going to avoid it all in all. Andy, I don't know if you have a play.
No, I got nothing. I just thought we should at least mention it since we talked so much.
Oh, I love it.
It's
It's going to be a
the
great
Colorados
game.
and the New Mexicos.
It's going to be a really good game.
Oh.
It's going to be the game you want to watch in the evening.
I can't believe none of us had a play. We have Fresno and San Diego State playing against both New Mexico teams, and none of us have a bet on them yet.
I don't have a read on it.
What's going to happen is like all the
bet those
corner
games.
schools are going to lose. They're all going to not cover this week, and it's going to be because I pulled the plug on fade the 4 corners.
Fading the 4 corners. Yeah.
I had almost made my card. It's on the cutting room floor. New Mexico State plus 21.
Oh, God. You poor bastard.
No, I didn't play it. I'm not going to play it, but
You got
I
an
might-
alert
we might
set for
play.
when that one hits 21.5, Andy?
I don't have an alert set. But if I look at it on Friday and it's above 21, I might play it. All right.
All right,
thank
so
you
the
for-
random game generator, I pulled a
Forgot about
number.
that.
I pulled
Yeah.
a number.
Oh, you're gonna do it?
Yeah, I pulled a
favorite.
I was
number.
just pulling it up.
I
Okay.
got number 19. We're going Boston College, going to Wake Forest. Let's pull some numbers up.
Ooh, good one finally.
Yeah, we're not in the Maction. So it's currently a 21-point spread, and the total's at 61.5. Go.
Everybody's playing. Everybody's playing, and everybody's healthy.
From what I
Yeah,
understand.
sure. Do your Google Doctor move real quick. See what it
I
says.
will go first. You'll all be shocked to know I'm going to take Boston College and the points.
You're an
I'm
idiot.
gonna do
You're a
it.
fool.
3 touchdowns is
That
too many
team's
points.
So bad.
Too many points. Hey, they beat Louisville 2 weeks ago.
They lost to Clemson. They scored 3 points. I went on this podcast saying I'd chug a shot if they scored 11, and they didn't get to halfway there.
But Clemson's good. They
Yeah.
beat the crap out of Wake Forest.
That's true.
Let's see.
Oh,
What does my heart say? I'm looking up BC's schedule because I have not given them even the thought of a thought.
I'm laying the points with Wake Forest. I'm not going to back Boston College today.
Yeah, I see 21. I see 21 at -113. I'm going to take that.
Total's also in the 60s, so if anybody doesn't want to touch that, 61.
I don't know if Boston College can score any points, though.
That's my fear, but I don't know how good Wake Forest's defense is. They're actually like a pretty – so I do know. They're a pretty average defense. Sam Hartman makes them – and A.T. Perry is going to be a first-round pick as a wide receiver. They make it much more explosive and much more like dangerous on offense. The under I would be tempted to know what the team total is. I guess we can figure out what the number is with the spread, right? Like –
I feel like betting the over and betting the plus money are the same bet.
Okay,
Because
I know my
you're
play.
betting Boston College
score.
to score some points. Like Wake Forest is going to get 35, right? They're going to get 35.
No, I would lean the under if I was going to lean away. Because
Okay.
Clemson, Wake Forest may score 45, and I don't know what Boston College is going to do.
But if you're doing that, then you're just going to lay the points.
No,
That's what I'm saying. I'm laying the point.
I'm laying the 20.
I'm laying the points because I think that it's more likely that Wake Forest scores 45 and Boston College scores 3 than Boston College taking the points.
So if there's anybody that's still listening, you should definitely lay the points with Wake Forest with Matt and Danny because I'm 0-2 on the random game generator. And they both agree that I'm an idiot. So you should definitely listen to them. But I'm sticking with my guns. I have principles.
Al?
Yeah, so here I've got 2 ideas here. I'm not sure which one I like better, but I know I've actually got a number for one of them. It's going to be Wake Forest minus 11.5 first half.
Ooh, I love it. That's
the play. What I will probably like better, but I don't see a number for, obviously,
Team total
would be
over.
Boston College first half team total under.
Under. I like that too.
I assume it's going to be like 3.5, but that would be
over. Smash the over. Smash it.
The downside of recording on Monday. Hey, everyone else is amalgamating picks from across the internet. We're giving them to you straight and early, so enjoy that. We take the risk.
I don't know about so straight, but
fair enough. All right, what are we doing to the Chuggy bets? Let's start with Al. Al, what you got? Who's your Chuggy?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Cincinnati -3 versus SMU is my Chuggy bet.
Not a bad one.
Yeah, I'm same game, but I'm going the over in that game. That's my favorite pick.
All right. Andy, what you got?
I'm taking the UCLA +6.5.
I'm in a similar boat. OK State +6.5 in Stillwater. Numbers don't make sense.
All right.
Excellent. Well, thank you everyone for listening. We appreciate it. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Check out our TikTok for additional content, especially soccer and some money lines. Tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell everybody you know.
Crushed it on soccer again this weekend.
Yeah, tell us how stupid our picks are or how great they are.
Oh, God, we love that. I owe a chug, by the way, on ChuggieBets is coming this week. We did a crap job on TikTok, even though we did a really good job on the podcast.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Great.
Good night, Joey.
Cheers.
Good night, Joey.
Night, Joey.